Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Disturbing details about threats from jail and an unusual sentencing request.
What we're learning about the parents of the Oxford High School shooter following their convictions. Good to have you with us here at noon, everybody. I'm Jason Colthorpe.
And I'm Rhonda Walker. The parents of the Oxford High School shooter are not set to be sentenced until next week on Tuesday, but both sides are already laying out their cases.
In new court filings, prosecutors are making their stance very clear.
The sentencing briefs from the prosecutor to the judge are asking for the max penalty against both Crumleys, which is 10 to 15 years minus time served. It's the low end of those guidelines that suggest 43 to 86 months. But when you delve into the briefs about why the prosecutor is asking for the max, Assistant Prosecutor Mark Keast delineates what he calls a chilling lack of remorse, along with gross negligence. But what they find appalling is a request by Jennifer Crumley's attorney to allow her to serve her sentence at her attorney's North Oakland County home on a tether. The prosecutor's office says that's a slap in the face. When you look at James Crumley's sentencing brief, we now know exactly what he was saying that was recorded in the Oakland County Jail. All are threats against Karen McDonald, highlights of which include, word for word now, "Yeah, Karen McDonald, you're going down. Yeah, you stupid blanks at the jail. Go ahead, record this call. Send it to Karen McDonald. Tell her how James Crumley is going to bleeping take her down." James Crumley's sentencing brief goes on to detail how Crumley has no remorse and considers himself a martyr.
Both James and Jennifer Crumley scheduled to be sentenced at Oakland County Circuit Court next Tuesday, April 9th. A reminder, Local 4 Plus will be streaming that sentencing live as it happens, as we did the trials. The Crumley parents being sentenced on April 9th. You'll hear the victim impact statements from the courtroom, as well as legal analysis. You can watch that beginning Tuesday morning at 9 on Local 4 Plus.
We are working to learn more about a deadly stabbing on Detroit's east side. So far, all we know is that the victim was a 40-year-old man. His body was found on Wednesday morning inside of an apartment building on Mack Avenue. He'd been stabbed multiple times, and while police do have someone they are questioning in this case, they say the victim's car is missing. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. New charges for a Macomb County Jail inmate accused of plotting another man's murder. This comes to light after the victim's attorneys obtained phone records from the jail. Aaron Mutterspaugh was talking with a woman named Carmen Marchetti over the jail phone. Police say that Marchetti asked him to have her husband killed, and Mutterspaugh agreed to do it. He is now facing multiple charges, including conspiracy to commit homicide and solicitation of murder. Marchetti is also facing charges. Flags are at half-staff today at the Capitol to honor former Senator Mike Green.
Green died last Thursday at the age of 75. He was a member of the Michigan House of Representatives and the Tuscola County Board of Commissioners. Green also put in 28 years at General Motors before getting elected to the House of Representatives.
Governor Whitmer made the call to lower the flags today. They are expected to be brought back up to full staff on Saturday in anticipation of additional flag honors.
Today, FEMA trying to get Metro Detroiters support after the storm that hit last summer. We're talking about the one that hit on August 24th, 5th, and 26th of last year. Specialists from FEMA will be at Temporary Recovery Center to set up at the Wayne County Community College's Northwest Campus. That's on West Outer Drive in Detroit. Hours are from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Officials from the U.S. Small Business Administration also going to be there to help those who want to apply for federal disaster assistance.
Sustainability will be one of the focuses at a town hall meeting in Ann Arbor today. Ann Arbor's Office of Sustainability and Innovations and Ann Arbor for Public Power are expected to lay out two proposals for city-owned electric utility. We are told that the goal is a grid that's more reliable than DTE and delivers renewable electricity to all of Ann Arbor. It's happening at Mallett's Creek Public Library at 6 o'clock this evening.
Today marks a somber anniversary in American history. It was 56 years ago today that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis.
300,000 people attended Dr. King's funeral on April 9th of 1968. To this day, Dr. King still inspires many and is remembered for his prominent role in the civil rights movement.
An important meeting set to take place today, just days after 7 American humanitarian aid workers were killed in airstrikes.
While Prime Minister Netanyahu says that this attack was an accident, as NBC's Bree Jackson explains, some are saying otherwise.
During an emotional interview, Chef Jose Andres accuses Israeli forces of targeting the convoy carrying his aid workers. Questions remain about Israel's airstrike on a World Central Kitchen convoy in the Gaza Strip.
Some of the people that died were my friends.
The organization's founder, Chef Jose Andres, demands answers.
They were targeted systematically, car by car. They attacked the first car, but there are 7 on top of a list of more than another 190 humanitarian workers that they've been killed over the last 6 months.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu admits his forces are responsible for what he called an unintended strike. President Biden criticized Israel for not doing enough to protect civilians.
He's outraged and he's heartbroken.
The White House says it shares the goal of dismantling Hamas in Rafah.
But we do not want them to conduct a full-scale operation that we believe would not only lead to a high number of civilian deaths.
Nearly 200 humanitarian aid workers are among the thousands of innocent lives lost since the conflict began. This most recent attack emphasizes the dangers involved for those only trying to help.
It's very difficult to provide aid. There are so many challenges and barriers.
Humanitarians and civilians should never be paying the consequences of war.
For now, the World Central Kitchen has paused its efforts to deliver much-needed aid to Gaza. And the strikes on aid workers is sure to be a topic of conversation when President Biden speaks with Prime Minister Netanyahu by phone today. The last time the two leaders spoke was on March 18th. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
All right, Bree. And now we start to focus on the forecast. We've been hoping for a few days now things would maybe change for opening day, maybe clear up for the solar eclipse, but
I think it's clear what it's going to be and what it's not, Ron.
You know, with the cloud cover, it's something that's just a bummer, isn't it? You know, we have the clouds out there today. Some of those clouds will bring some sprinkles later on this afternoon and evening, and also even some flurries possible. Look at the temperatures right now. We're in the 30s and 40s, mainly in the 40s right now, with 49 in Detroit, 44 for Howell. Lapeer, we're at 45, same for Monroe. Now, as you go across the area, you'll see a few droplets coming down, a couple of showers out there as you get into the thumb. You see a ZEC Track 4D radar showing what could be a couple of sprinkles falling in parts of Wayne County as you get over into the Inkster area, Redford. Now, here's what we have. This very slow-moving low-pressure system out there. It is responsible for giving us those multiple days of rain chances and even a couple of wet snowflakes. You see that rotating around the Great Lakes snow as you get over toward Chicago and more snow over toward upstate New York. So now we have a couple of big events coming up. The Tigers home opener coming tomorrow. And then on Monday, we're talking about the solar eclipse. You're probably wondering about the forecast. Will the clouds be in the area? We are going to be in the path of totality for the southeastern portions of Monroe County, and the rest of us having very good looks at it as well. I'll tell you about that forecast coming up. And also, if you want to get a look at the exact Track 4D radar, just download the Forewarned Weather app.
there you go. All right, Ron.